Razor sharp on a budget? You heard that right. What's going on, guys? Melissa Miller, aka Melissa Backwoods here. And something I get asked about quite frequently is to review different sharpening systems. Now, in the realm of sharpening, I would actually consider myself kind of a beginner, and here's why. Number one is that I really only have experience with guided sharpening systems, some of which I've reviewed in the past. And number two is, to be quite honest, I go through so many knives. My rotation is so frequent that overall it just takes much longer for a knife to get to the point where it's dull enough for me to need to sharpen it. So that being said, I wanted to find a sharpening system that met 4 important criteria. Number one, I wanted it to be beginner friendly and easy to use. Number two, I wanted it to be budget friendly, under $100. Number three, I also wanted the system to be portable because I do a lot of living and camping out of my car, so I want to be able to have a system I could just throw in my car on the go. And lastly, I wanted it to be a well-reviewed, trusted system. This system's got like over 14,000 reviews on Amazon at an average rating of 4.5. After a little bit of research, I settled on this Lansky 5-stone sharpening system. Okay, enough yapping. Let's see how this thing holds up. Okay, so here's the kit. It's really nice, slim, compact. You get 5 stones, some little rods, honing oil. This clamp comes in there as well. And we are going to be sharpening my Civivi Elementum, which is D2 steel. Okay, so this knife just kind of needs a touch up. It's not super dull, but it's definitely not slicing paper the way I would want it to. I'm going to mark my edge with a Sharpie pen, trick that a bladesmith once told me. Okay, so step one, we're going to insert our knife in the clamp, and then you can use a flathead or a dime to tighten this bolt right here. I do wish they included some sort of tightening tool in the kit. Then, don't do that too tight. We're going to really tighten this one down to really secure our knife into place. You want about like a 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch sticking out. If this was a pricier knife, I'd probably put some masking tape here just because it is metal on metal contact. Okay, you get 5 stones right here. The knife's not terribly dull, so we're going to start with a medium stone. It's nice, they include a little bit of honing oil, so you can put that on your stone. We're going to grab one of our little rods out of here. We're going to insert it into our sharpening stone, lie this on a flat surface, make sure it's nice, straight, and then we're going to tighten our wing nut. See how that is nice and lined up. Now we get to choose our sharpening angle, 30, 25, 20, 17. For this knife, I have her set at 25. We'll literally use our hand to hold this in place, and we're going to start here, going up towards the tip of the blade. 1. I do it in sections of 2. So there's 2, 3. So this blade is short enough to get the entire edge in a single stroke, but I wanted to show you this option for splitting the stroke up into 2 motions if you have a slightly longer blade. Okay, now we're going to flip it over and do 13 strokes on the other side. This is going to be a little bit shakier because I'm using my right hand, but that's because I want both of my sharpening. I want it to both be going towards the tip of the blade just for an even sharpening process on both sides. So it's important to maintain even pressure throughout your strokes. And for an edge touch-up, you can do about 9 to 15 passes. Here I decided to do 13 passes. Okay, now we're going to move on to the fine stone. Now for this round, I'm going to introduce the Lansky mounting system. These are like 13 bucks, and what these help you do is just kind of stabilize your system. You can also mount them to a workbench if you please. I'm realizing this knife is small enough to use I can use the length. You can use this in 1 stroke, so we're going to do 13 passes again. Other side, let's go. So this is basically just a rinse and repeat. I'm doing 13 passes on this side, trying to maintain nice, even pressure. And here's a technique that might be a little bit easier for beginners, going back and forth along the entire edge of that honing stone. Just a little bit simpler than rather trying to cover that edge of the blade in 1 or 2 strokes. Last but not least, we're going to the ceramic. And for this round, we're going to be introducing this C-clamp mount, which you can use to basically attach it to any table. Okay, time to see how sharp it is. I'm gonna walk this to the car because it is freezing outside. It's really cold. That being said, this is a good moment to talk about the extreme portability of this and how, if you want, you could literally use it sitting in your car seat. We're gonna take it out of the clamp and paper test. Let's see if we got, okay. There we Yep, see, it is slicing paper a lot better now. Magazine paper, ooh. So yeah, very, very pleased with that. Let's get into the pros and cons of this sharpening or honing system. So pros, obviously super compact. This is the size of the kit. Another big pro is the budget. I found these for $47 for the starter kit. It's going to get into the $50, $60, $70 range if you want to start to get the clamping accessories. It's also beginner friendly. It's guided, so it's taking the guesswork out of guessing the angle. You know that your angle's right, which makes it really easy for people who do not have a lot of experience. Okay, now let's get into some cons. These rods, a little flimsy. Just wish they were a bit more sturdy. Don't think they're going to bend or anything, but you know. Another con, I wish they had hardened steel hardware right here. This is aluminum, which makes it susceptible to stripping, especially when we're doing a lot of screwing. I do wish that these plates were a bit bigger. They're not very long, they're not very wide, and I wish there was more surface area. Also, if you're doing a lot of harder passes, you might have to tighten down this wing nut while you are using it because it is vulnerable to move and get loose. I don't really know any guided systems like this that you can find for such a low price. I will link this below if you're interested in checking this out. This sharpening system has been around for a long time, so it was fun to check out a tried and true system. Let me know if you'd like me to do more sharpening systems in the future. This is a fun little test to see if you guys enjoy this video. And until that, I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. If you like things that are sharp and pointy, then maybe you should subscribe to my channel.